What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Isaac of the Dead. We are going to react to Theo Hunt's video, The Walking Dead Might Have Just Been Saved. Now, for those who don't know, I am a huge fan of The Walking Dead. Not a huge fan of where it's been lately, but Theo Hunt has some good Walking Dead content, and so we are going to react to this video because, well, it looks like there's been some news on The Walking Dead. Let's get into it.
So last week, as I'm sure many of you have heard by now, some massive news broke within the Walking Dead world. Netflix officially agreed to a $500 million 5-year deal with AMC.
So, I had not heard about this. This is old news by YouTube standards, but I had not heard this, so we're going to react to this video.
Now giving the streaming juggernauts global access to all 371 episodes from across the Walking Dead universe. And despite the fact I never really cover news or any updates on this channel, I just feel like this deal was far too important to not make a video on this subject. Because not only does this feel like a huge step in the right direction for AMC, but I think it could genuinely save the future of this entire franchise. Something that has been somewhat up in the air for the last few years. So,
yeah, it's definitely been up in the air whenever you factor in things like, where is Daryl Dixon going? Where is The Ones Who Live? What's that going to lead to? What's who was watching Dead City, and why should we care, right? There are things like that I like to know the answers to, and I hope that this Netflix deal is something beneficial for the Walking Dead universe. At the same time, I just kind of want them to reboot and start over. Like, why not at this point just cut off the live action TV series and just give us, like, you know how Invincible is on Amazon Prime? Give us a Walking Dead comic book adaptation in black and white in the vein of Invincible. Why not? Just reboot the franchise.
today, let's break down what this deal actually means, how the partnership will work, and what it tells us about the future of the Walking Dead franchise moving forward. Right, before we actually get into the nitty-gritty of how this deal could potentially change the future of the entire franchise, let's actually break down what we 100% know as of now. A very common misconception I've seen online is that Netflix are purchasing the entire Walking Dead franchise outright.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. I think AMC is staying on board with that. I just don't understand why. Well, I guess I know the answer why. It's that AMC Plus is a fucking failure. AMC Plus was a failure, so they're relying on Netflix now. I saw it happen with the WWE Network, and now Monday Night Raw is on Netflix. Eventually, Netflix is going to beat out everybody.
Which is just wrong, because they are only partnering with AMC, meaning AMC still holds all the creative rights to the series, and Netflix won't have any say whatsoever in what content we might potentially see in the future. Which is extremely rare for Netflix to agree a deal like this, but we'll get onto that in a little while. What we can say for certain though is The Walking Dead main series and all 6 spin-offs you'll see on your screen right now, come 2027, will all be available to watch on Netflix in a singular place. Well, depending on your region, which is particularly massive for fans outside of the United States, as for the first time in history, the UK, Italy, Australia, and New Zealand will now gain access to the entire Walking Dead catalogue without having to have like 16 different subscriptions. Oh, and we'll also not receive new releases delayed, as recent shows like Daryl Dixon Season 3 saw delayed streaming releases compared to America across Europe. And as someone who lives in the UK, I could not be happier for this announcement. Come 2027, all 371 episodes of The Walking Dead universe will be on Netflix. Oh, and they also announced they'll also be on AMC+. And as mentioned in the introduction, this partnership will be in place for a minimum of 5 years, meaning Netflix will be home to the franchise until at least 2032. Netflix's licensing vice president, Laurie Conklin, said in an interview on the Netflix website, "We're excited to partner with AMC Global Media to continue to expand that access to more audiences around the world and bring the entirety of the Walking Dead universe to Netflix."
So what that tells me is the fucking ratings are low. The ratings are super low. And that's an easy Google search. It's an easy Google search to see how far this franchise has fallen. So I think what it is they're trying to get up some streaming numbers by having this partnership with Netflix. They're getting more exposure to normies and people that own Netflix, which is the winner of the streaming wars, which was Netflix. You have a bigger platform there. And so by exposing all of this content to Netflix, basically what you were doing is getting on your back, going belly up and saying, Netflix, you won. Have our content so that we can reach the masses. And so that's what it seems like to me. The numbers are low, so they're trying to get them streaming numbers up.
So this is a great start and makes the franchise so much more accessible to fans outside of the United States. But let's actually get into why this deal could be huge for the content we could possibly see in the coming years.
Your cavities
ads.
can actually repair.
I don't have YouTube Premium. I'm poor. I'm poor.
To really understand why this deal is such a huge moment for the franchise, we really have to look past the surface details and dig into what effects it will actually have. Firstly, $500 million being injected to AMC over 5 years is massive. And in an era where cable television is quite frankly dying and production budgets are getting slashed across the industry, that kind of cash flow gives AMC the capital to keep funding the series. Now, whether this is a good thing remains to be seen. As will this mean AMC just continues to churn out more subpar spin-offs? Who really knows? But hopefully this huge influx of cash is reinvested into improving the existing spin-offs, starting some new ones, or with Andrew Lincoln even teasing his return as Rick Grimes last year, maybe that cash can be used as some kind of...
I'm going to read this real quick. That said, we might have opened up the door for the Stars Return of the Walking Dead franchise. I think I'm previously confirmed that we were discussing Tim returning to the role of Rick Grimes as it was at that point in time. Unclear whether it would be for another stint like The Ones Who Live or another cameo at the series finale of the possible when we return to be a second season of Coldwater. What the hell is Coldwater? I don't know what that is, but they really need to wrap up this universe. They ended the main show. We need to see Rick come back with Michonne, with Daryl, with Carol, with Negan and Maggie, and wrap up the show. Like wrap up this universe. Let's get it all in one big bundle and give it a kiss goodbye. Have one more season of like a crossover series where they all kind of meet and intertwine and have like a. I was kind of hoping The Ones Who Live would be that show. It would be. I was hoping that The Ones Who Live would be Daryl, Carol, Maggie, Negan, Fear the Walking Dead characters, Rick, Morgan, all of them coming together for one big final season. We just never got that, and so I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Of Rick and Daryl reunion or season 12. Either way, with an increased budget, hopefully the series is able to recapture some of its earlier magic. Secondly, this move plays directly into something I like to call the Netflix effect. IMDb currently ranks The Walking Dead as one of the top 20 most bingeable series of all time, making it custom built for how people stream today. But up until now, international fans haven't had the luxury of watching this franchise very easily at all.
There's also the Walking Dead universe, which I personally have, and I just turn it on to the Walking Dead universe on YouTube TV just for shits and giggles. Whenever I'm writing or doing something, doing chores or whatever, I'll just turn it on just, to have it on as background noise. I love it. I love seeing those early, like first 5-6 seasons. Were fucking awesome. I love those. After that, it takes a dip. It takes a dip in quality, but I love seeing the old stuff, and so that channel, I turn it on all the time, and so it's a super bingeable series.
In the UK, as of now, you need Disney Plus to watch the main show, Amazon Prime for Fear the Walking Dead, and Now TV for the newer spin-offs, costing around £23 a month or $31 just to keep up to date. However,
yeah, $31 for all of that isn't bad necessarily for us Americans, but it also, I wouldn't spend that much money to watch this show. I just wouldn't.
Unifying
particularly the spinoffs.
All 371 episodes on the world's biggest streaming algorithm means when somebody finishes the main series, Netflix will immediately push Daryl Dixon or Dead City, for example, right onto their homepage. And in turn, I'm sure it will make the entire Walking Dead cinematic universe just feel a lot more cohesive and easier to digest as a fan, which journalist Christine Passard brilliantly pointed out over on MovieWeb's article about this very deal, stating streaming regularly breathes second life into a major TV franchise, and she expects this deal to be no different. And although Netflix has owned the rights in America to The Walking Dead since 2011, this will increase the series' global reach, and in turn brings a whole new audience to The Walking Dead franchise.
I don't think it makes it more digestible as a franchise. I think shit writing is shit writing, but having it be more accessible to global audiences will boost the numbers for sure, and that's what they want. I think that's what they want, and that hopefully lights a fire under them to hopefully make better content. But if it reaches out globally and the numbers don't show, then all it proves is that the writing's shit and the content sucks and people aren't going to watch it. That's my 2 cents.
series. But here's the most interesting part, to me at least. Netflix rarely agrees to licensing non-exclusive deals like this one anymore. They usually insist on full ownership or total exclusivity. In fact, reports surfaced back in February that negotiations almost totally broke down between Netflix and AMC, as the streaming juggernauts almost lost one of their most successful shows. So the fact that Netflix fought back, compromised, and still shelled out $500 million in a partnership shows they see massive long-term value in this IP, even with last year's release of Daryl Dixon Season 3 being the lowest viewership the franchise has ever seen. And although Netflix's analytics aren't public knowledge, this means behind closed doors the numbers must be huge. And in turn with this partnership, it throws AMC a $500 million lifeline. Though Netflix
I gotta take this back. Hold on.
Of Daryl Dixon Season 3 being the lowest viewership the franchise has ever seen. And although Netflix's analytics aren't public knowledge, this means behind closed doors the numbers must be huge.
Check out the word must be huge. No, you just read the analytics. You just read the numbers. Brother, they're low. They're not huge. Behind closed doors, no. No.
And in turn with this partnership, it throws AMC a $500 million lifeline. And whilst I'm sure that sum of money is worth it for the main series alone, it also makes me think Netflix isn't just buying this for the library of content, as AMC might have big plans for the franchise behind the scenes that has convinced Netflix to agree to a deal like this. And
I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when Scott M. Gimple gets out on stage at Hall C or something and Comic-Con and announces more Walking Dead projects. Till then, we're stuck with Dead City Season 3, and we're stuck with Daryl Dixon Season 4. That's it. That's it.
now the cash has hit AMC's bank account, that ball can finally start rolling.
Hey, if you want to get rid of your beer
Just
belly
another
in time for
reminder that
summer,
I'm poor. I don't want to see this.
So as I alluded to at the end of the previous segment, I think this deal could potentially save the future of The Walking Dead. But why is this? And I think to answer that question, we have to look at what's happening behind the scenes. Andrew Lincoln recently starred in the British drama Cold Water, which despite a solid premiere, wrapped up as a self-contained 6-part series, meaning his immediate schedule is now conveniently wide open. On top of that, Lincoln has been surprisingly vocal about wanting to return to the role of Rick Grimes, even confirming that discussions behind the scenes are actively ongoing. Add to this, AMC's chief content officer, Scott Gimple, who recently went on the Brandon Davis show and addressed the long-awaited Rick and Daryl reunion by saying this.
Is there a version of this? Is there still a hope? Where maybe Rick, Daryl, Morgan,
Absolutely still a hope. I've drawn up all sorts of Garden of Forking Paths kind of plans. I would hope it might be a minute.
Yeah.
It might be tomorrow. I might be off at the retirement home,
Yeah.
but I think eventually we'll get there.
And Norman Reedus has repeatedly said he'll play Daryl Dixon for as long as they'll have him, as well as having Melissa McBride, Lauren Cohan, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan all under contract for their spin.
Yeah, they're locked in. They're not going anywhere. Not only have they been absolutely typecast to these roles, but and they're almost synonymous with these roles, but they ain't going anywhere. As long as AMC is going to milk this franchise, they're not going anywhere.
Spin-offs. To me, the timing here is just too perfect. Almost everyone required to make this happen is publicly advocating for it. The leads have clear schedules, and AMC suddenly has $500 million sitting in the bank to throw at a project. So are the stars finally aligning for a moment we thought we might never see? Now, to be fair, this is all heavy speculation on my behalf, and there is one obvious hurdle here: Danai Gurira. She's currently booked with multiple high-profile projects running into mid-2027, and unlike the rest of the cast, she's kept quiet on a possible return to the franchise. But Michonne as a character is far too crucial to Rick's story for AMC to just write around her. So how will they handle this? Do they...
You got a good point, and I agree with the sentiment on the speculation. They have all the tools right there. They have all they need right in front of them. They have all the goodwill. Well, not all the goodwill. They've lost half their audience, 90% of their audience in the last 10 years. But they have all the tools to do something incredible. It depends on whether or not they're actually going to pull it off, whether they have the motivation to do it. But Danai Gurira, she's in like the Black Panther franchise. She's with a bunch of other stuff. It's going to be harder to nail her down to this project, but generally, I agree with the sentiment about, I mean, I want to be hopeful. But right now I'm black-pilled on it. I'm just like, why are you feeding us crap like Dead City and Daryl Dixon? It's like,
Want to wait until she's free, or is AMC planning something completely different in the meantime? But one thing's for sure at this point, I don't think a Rick and Daryl reunion is a question of if, it's now a question of when and in what format we will see it. Are we looking at a one-off episode, a mini-series, or even possibly a full-blown season 12 of the main series? Even if
I'm still waiting on the movies. I was hoping that they would actually get through with those Rick Grimes movies, but the pandemic fucked those. The pandemic and the closed down theaters fucked that idea so hard. So I guess we're never going to get those Walking Dead movies. Even though I'd go see them. I would.
the latter may be extremely optimistic on my behalf, but AMC now has the budget, the core cast is ready to go, and with Netflix's global infrastructure backing them all the way, the green light actually feels inevitable for the first time in a very long time. I mean, we recently saw with Dexter Resurrection how taking a franchise that many thought was past its prime and bringing back the core cast, mixed in with some competent writing, shot the Smash miniseries straight back into the limelight, with it breathing new life into the Dexter IP and, excuse the pun, but resurrecting it. And Resurrection instantly got renewed for a second season, whilst also, in my opinion, being one of the very best seasons of Dexter in the entire cinematic universe. And I think AMC could replicate that success with The Walking Dead. I mean, the core cast and the fan base are already there, it's now just a matter of execution. Plus, now expanding into new global territories makes other long-rumoured projects seem far more viable. Take the rumoured Australian spin-off titled Bushland. Now that Netflix distributes The Walking Dead directly to Australia, an Australian-based show now makes a lot more commercial sense. AMC may have simply been sitting on these projects until a deal like this was officially locked in. Look, on this channel, as you can probably tell by this very video, I try my best to be optimistic about the franchise I love the most. But I'll admit, in the last 4 or so years, that's been extremely hard when talking about the future of this IP, as The Walking Dead has unfortunately slowly been fizzling out of cultural relevancy, with
100%. Absolutely. 100%. On that last statement, you have nailed it on the spot, brother.
at one point it looking like we might never see a Rick and Daryl reunion. However, last week is the most excited I've been for the future of this franchise since The Ones Who Live was announced all the way back in July of 2022. And with Dead City Season 3 so far taking huge steps in the right direction for how spin-offs in this franchise should really be, I can truly say for the first time in many years, I'm excited for the future of The Walking Dead, as well as what this Netflix deal could give us as fans. But with that being said, what are your predictions for the future of the franchise? Do you think I'm getting my hopes up over nothing, or do you think we actually will see a Rick Grimes return? And if so, when? If you guys want to check out...
That was Theo Hunt. The Walking Dead might have just been saved. We're going to see. We're going to see about that, but I will hold my hopes out for as long as I can. I'll make some Dead City reviews, some Daryl Dixon reviews, and we're going to see. But let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in another video very soon.